Hi there. Thanks for joining me today. As we gather each week to worship and to share communion, let's be inviting people to our gatherings so that they might join us in coming to Jesus and receive forgiveness and grace at his table. I was just reading Luke 11, the story of when a Pharisee invited Jesus to his table for a meal with himself and some other religious people. And he was astonished that Jesus didn't wash before eating. That was a real no-no. That was like refusing to shake someone's hand. It was culturally offensive. But you see, Jesus was offended by all the barriers that the Pharisees and the religious people had created that prevented the poor and the sinners from having a seat at their table. For example, they'd created this whole system of ritual cleansing that they said was necessary to be acceptable to God and to be included in their community. But only the well-off had the time and money to do all that was required. No one else could really meet their standards. It's hard to be clean in the slum, isn't it? So people were excluded. But it seems to me that Jesus was making a point here. He was invited to their table because he appeared to fit the bill, until, of course, he refused to wash. And then Jesus made his point very clear. He said to the Pharisee there, he said, now then, he says, you Pharisees, you clean, the outside of the cup and the dish, but inside you're full of greed and wickedness. He was saying, you religious people are like cups that are kind of rinsed on the outside, but inside the dregs of your latte has gone moldy and stinks. You fools, he says, did not the one who made the outside make the inside also? But as for what is inside you, he says, be generous to the poor, and then everything will be clean for you. In other words, he's saying cleanliness comes from inside. It comes from the heart. He goes on to say there how the Pharisees tithed even their herbs, but neglected weightier issues such as justice and expressing the love of God. Jesus must have ruined that meal, mustn't he? In fact, one of the teachers of the law who was also at the table, he protested. He said, you're offending us. To which Jesus replied, he says, and you experts of the law, woe to you as well, he said, because you load the people down with burdens that they can hardly carry, and you yourselves will not lift a finger to help them. Again, they'd created this system of moral respectability that others couldn't live up to, and so were excluded from the table. But the church can be guilty of that too, can't it? We can have expectations of people's behavior, of their appearance, maybe of literacy, punctuality, of other people's children, that might make those people feel excluded and prevent them from coming to Jesus. But the question I really want to leave you with today is, will we lift a finger to help? Will we do anything about it? Just think about how that might play out today. In fact, listen to one person's commentary on this story. He says here, today's Pharisees might condemn the poor for their dysfunctional families, but lift not one finger to help. He says, today's Pharisees might condemn the poor for their excessive drinking, but lift not one finger to ease their pain. Today's Pharisees might condemn the poor for their laziness, but lift not one finger to provide employment. He says, I'm not defending dysfunctional families, drunkenness, and so on, but we cannot condemn these things at a distance. That's legalism. We must come alongside, he says, so that they might experience the transforming grace of God. And I guess, that's really my heart for our church. That, rather than looking at other people's lives and condemning, criticizing, complaining, like some may do, that actually we get involved, we get alongside, we eat with them, right, as Jesus did. My hope is that people from different social economic backgrounds as well as people from different lifestyles, those liberals, right? That they will not feel excluded, that they might feel able to join us and find transforming grace at the table. Because after all, they need Jesus just as much as we do. So, who will you invite?